Do you ever wonder when you're shopping for guitars and you see two guitars on the wall that basically look the same, like what's the difference? And then you look at the price tag and one of them's $5,000 and the other one's $1,000? What's the difference? I've got a really good example of that right here. This is our Epiphone ES335 figure top, and the guitar that inspired it, the Gibson ES335 figure top. And there's a reason why one of them costs 5 times as much as the other one, but it's not always immediately apparent. We're going to start with the Epiphone because it's the less expensive model. I don't want to imply that I'm saving the best guitar for last, because really this is not the best guitar. For certain people, this one is going to be way better for them, fit their style, meet their needs in a better way, and we're going to talk about why that is. All right, I'm playing this guitar, the Epiphone ES335, through Universal Audio Ruby. Let's begin. They sound very similar. This one does feel a little bit different when I'm playing it. If I were to try to describe what I'm feeling, it's like a liveliness, it's a resonance of the guitar, the vibration. This feels like it's a little bit more alive when I'm playing it, like it's a little bit more reactive to the strings vibrating the soundboard. I'm not going to say that's a negative or a positive thing, one way or the other, but that's how I would describe it. Now that we've got some first impressions, let's take a look at the spec sheet and see how these guitars differ. First of all, let's take a look at the body. So the Epiphone is made with a layered maple body, compared to the Gibson, made with a 3-ply AAA figured maple, poplar maple body. Now, it sounds very similar, layered maple versus 3-ply maple, which is layered. But the Epiphone body is going to have more layers going on, thinner pieces, more adhesive keeping them together. And the Gibson has only 3 plies, which means that more of that body is wood, it's resonating, and it's built from a higher grade of wood, so it is going to contribute to the tonal qualities. The next contributing factor to the tone, I would have to say, is probably going to be the difference in finish on these two guitars. The Epiphone's polyurethane is a bit of a quicker process, which is one of the reasons why they use it for these instruments, but it's also a little bit more protective on account of it being a bit thicker as well. So that is good for protection, not quite as good for the acoustic resonance of the instrument. Whereas the nitro finish on the Gibson, it will be a little bit quicker to wear and show signs of aging, but it allows the wood to do its thing a little bit better. It allows for more acoustic resonance because of it's a thinner coating and it reacts differently with the wood, basically. And then of course we've got to talk about the pickups. So on the Epiphone, we've got the Alnico Classic Pro neck pickup and bridge pickup. And then on the Gibson, we've got the calibrated T-type rhythm pickup and calibrated T-type lead pickup. Ultimately, the design of these two pickups is pretty similar, but the Gibson one is more refined, and we can definitely hear that in the audio samples while we were A-Bing these two guitars. The Gibson just had a little bit more top-end clarity and was a little bit brighter. I think we should get another opinion. So I'm gonna go see if I can find somebody else to come play these guitars and see what they think.
Usually the first thing I notice when I pick up an Epiphone versus a Gibson is usually gonna be the finish and stuff like that. At least for me, like I get this sticky hand thing with those guitars, so it's nice having one that doesn't have that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely say one of the other things too, like there's some slight differences in how the pickups kind of react to things. I'd say overall though, like a little bit more modern tone out of the Epiphone, which like will make it a little bit more versatile in some respects, whereas the vintage sounding ones are going to be a little bit more top heavy, a little bit more brighter sounding in certain respects. I feel like you could probably do a little bit more rounded stuff with this one. I do really like this bridge pickup quite a bit on that one. These pickups are just really quite nice on this one. But as far as the body, like it just plays almost the same. Like the neck feels really quite close. It doesn't feel like I'm going from a cheap guitar to an expensive guitar. It just feels like, oh, this one has slightly different pickups than this one.
Totally.
So a lot of the appeal for a lot of people too, I find, is that open body sound that you get out of semi-hollows.
You probably felt a difference, and I definitely heard a difference.
Yeah, I definitely hear a difference too. It does definitely feel like one of those things where like this is not that far off in many respects. But definitely like, this feels right. This feels like how this guitar should feel.
Right.
So, you know.
Pretty similar. It's a little darker. Definitely some more like brilliant mid-range. The necks are a lot closer than I expected, actually. Like this one's a bit bigger, but the shape is pretty similar.
In the end, the best thing to do is to come in and put these guitars in your hands. We can set up another A/B test any old time. That is how we figure these things out. That's how we help you shop for your next instrument, especially when it comes to something like a Gibson guitar, where there's a lot of handwork put into these instruments. They're handcrafted. That brings each instrument its own unique characteristics. When it comes to shopping for a guitar, really the best thing you can do for yourself is to come visit your local shop and take a couple guitars down off the wall. Especially when it comes to shopping for a Gibson, where there's so much handcrafted work that goes into these guitars that each one of them is unique. So it's best to come in, try them out, plug them in. We're happy to set up a rig for you. If you want to bring in your own pedal board just to see how it sounds with your gear, feel free. However you need to shop for your guitar, we're here to help you do that. So I hope that information has been helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.